I present to you now something the likes of which you've never seen before. The most dangerous combination of professional sports. The skill, the strength, the stamina, and the ability of two men blended together as one. The most exciting combination in the history of professional wrestling, twin sons of different mothers.
Chris Adams and Mike Currents.
Let's body slam the competition.
All right, everybody, welcome to our show this week where we talk about the great pay-per-view, the tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh, my. Not so sure if it was great for everybody. I kind of had mixed reactions from the show this week. I'm sure Mike and KJ has something to put in on it as well. But we also have a guest with us this week as well. It's going to be on the show, Mr. M.E. Howerton, wrestler from the independent circuit. He's wrestled for a friend of the show of ours, Dirty Rose, that was on not too long ago. And we'll be talking with him here in just a few moments. We're going to get the introductions out of the way here, though. Mike, you with us again?
Yeah, I'm back, baby. I'm always here.
All right. We can't get rid of him for too long. Is that right, KJ?
Yeah, I know. He's like
hold on. Is that KJ? Is he here? On time?
He's actually
Get your little ha-has in now. Hee.
Oh, we got more coming for you. Don't worry about that. We got a ways to go. What'd you guys think of the pay-per-view tonight?
It was solid. It was solid. It had its good points and it had its bad points. Trust me, later on, I'm going to start talking about the bad points.
This we know. Killjoy, what'd you think?
I'd say it was 60-40, dude. I'd give it like a C+, maybe a B. So we'll see. But there was definitely some high points. There was definitely stuff they stunk up the place. But other than that, and there was some stuff that really surprised me. Matches that I didn't think I would like, I really did like.
Yeah, it is a good mashup of a little bit of everything there. It seemed like for a while. I didn't actually listen to the whole thing. I did watch it, but I didn't actually have the volume up the whole time it was going on, to be honest with you. The action overall was pretty good, I thought, but we'll get more into that here in a few minutes. Right now, I want to go ahead and bring in our guest on the show this week that Mr. Mike Currents has set up for us. We have Mr. M.E. Howerton from the Wrestling on the Independent Circuit. He's wrestled for Killjoy. I'm sure you weren't here for the show that week. We had Dirty Rhodes on with us, and for a little promotion in different places, and he's wrestled for him some. Mr. Howerton, thanks for coming on the show with us today.
Thanks, man. Good to be with you.
So Mike tells me that he is the one and only who could carry us through this interview. So I'm going to turn over the reins to Mike to take the lead this week because Mike says he is the man. Now, you met him before. Now tell us, is he really the man or is he just putting on a front?
Oh, I don't know. He worked some commentary with us, and I don't know if he's putting on a front or not. We'll find out as we go forward.
Oh, Mike, take off with it, Mike.
Oh, that's just a stellar. I'm going to guess it's going to be a compliment coming from a man of Mr. M.E. Howerton's prowess. Now we know, though I know, they don't know. I know that you are the man to make professional wrestling great again. Tell us your plan.
My plan to make wrestling great again is to show up to the shows and be there. That makes wrestling great again. I was telling everybody on commentary, as soon as President-elect Donald Trump declared victory, made a phone call to M.E. Howerton and reached out and says, M.E. Howerton, we need to make wrestling great again, and you're my man. You're the guy that's going to go there and do it for us.
And we do need someone, Mike, to make wrestling great again. We are kind of suffering through some of these pay-per-views and some of these Monday nights here. We need somebody who can bring some wrestling back to the show, some true wrestling back to the show.
Well, Mr. Howerton's not only a wrestler. Like he said, he did commentary. He could commentate around almost every single commentator that small company up in the Northeast has, Chris. I can tell you that right now. And I might have taken a stab at him during the commentary, suggesting that Dirty Rhodes was going to lower the price of admission so people wouldn't have to put up with him. But it was all in good fun.
Well, in all seriousness, though, I mean, like you guys were talking about the pay-per-view earlier. I didn't watch it. I hardly ever watch Raw anymore. It's not because I don't love wrestling. Man, I love wrestling more than it's one of my favorite passions in life. But it's just not what it used to be. I mean, the sports entertainment business is just not wrestling, and I don't care for it. I don't think I ever have. I think I stopped watching WWE like regularly. Like I'll watch WrestleMania. It's kind of funny because they whenever Vince McMahon brought up the WWE Network, and it was $9.99 a month. You know, he brought it on like right before WrestleMania a couple of years ago, and he was like, "Hey, pay $9.99 a month, and you get all the pay-per-views, including WrestleMania, and you got to sign up for the first 6 months in order to get WrestleMania. Like commit to 6 months." Okay, fine. It ended up being about the same as what you would have paid if you just would have bought WrestleMania on the thing. Well, now you don't even have to do that. Now you can just sign up for 1 month and get WrestleMania for $9.99 and cancel the next month. So, but it's kind of funny because I bought it, and I think the only pay-per-view I've watched every year since I bought it has been WrestleMania. So basically, I'm paying $120 a year just for WrestleMania. Whenever I could just purchase it for $60 on pay-per-view through my cable provider. So, like I'm end up paying double for WrestleMania than what I used to pay, but I get WWE Network every month, and I think I watch more old stuff on it than I watch anything else, and that's when I get a chance to. But I love the old stuff. I think I stopped watching WWE regularly whenever some of the what I would call some of the last big characters were on there, like The Rock and Stone Cold. I think one of the greatest matches of all time was Rock and Hogan, WrestleMania. I think it was 18. It's because WWE doesn't make characters anymore. I mean, they have characters. I've watched some of the guys. I think it's Bray Wyatt had a kind of a weird, twisted character. But really, everybody's a cookie cutter anymore. You take a cookie cutter literally, and everybody looks the same. Everybody does the same thing, and all the matches are pretty much the same. And it's not like it used to be back in the day. I mean, back in the day, wrestling was great. The match may suck, but who cares? Because everything else was great. I mean, the match may have been great too. That was a bonus. But once you heard Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan talk about each other for 6 months, that was the good stuff. I mean, every promo was amazing, and everything they did was amazing. And you got the WrestleMania, what the pay-per-view was. And I was a kid. I not even got the pay-per-view, but I still watched the next time they were on TV to find out what happened because I just love listening to guys. The Rock was the same way, man. Every time the Rock picked up the microphone back in late 90s, early 2000s, every time the man picked up the microphone, I was glued to the TV just to listen to him. And I just think that's what wrestling's lacking. They got writers now. They don't let the boys do what they do best. They don't let the boys have a microphone and just be themselves and be the character that they are and be the personality that they are and let it come through to the audience and capture the audience. Now they got people writing scripts and you got to read them verbatim. I mean, it's just they just take everything out of what the boys are. I don't know. I never had a desire when I started wrestling to ever make it there, and it's not from copping out though I'm not tall enough or big enough to go. I'm just saying I never had a desire to. Reading from a script and doing sports entertainment wasn't what I ever signed up to do.
Well, it's like, do you want to be a wrestler or do you want to be an actor at that point? And they do a lot of acting on TV. They do a lot of talking on TV, it seems like, and a little less, a little less action.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just.
Do you think?
Obviously, you're a character and you're yourself, and really, you're the best you could be. And like Emmy Howerton, my name's Mike, but I'm Emmy Howerton, and I'm just using my initials M&E, and but that's who I am. It's who I used to be anyway. But it's who I am turned up on steroids times 10. And that's what wrestling needs to be. Like going to WWE and then saying, okay, I walk in the door and then said, okay, Mike, here's your character. Here's who we want you to be. And then I got to learn to be something different than who I am. That's gonna come off kind of bland. And then you really are talking about faking it the whole time. People can tell. Instead of like one of the best things they ever did was Stone Cold Steve Austin made himself. I mean, whenever he finally he was angry about stuff. And when they finally just let him be him, because he pretty much forced their hand, and they let him be him on steroids, not literal steroids, but his personality amped up like he was on, then that's when he was golden. That's when he wrote the golden ticket for him. And that's all I'm talking about. I remember when we first came up with Emmy Howerton. It was me and my buddy Brian Logan. He trained me and took me on the road with him. And man, he was like, he didn't like it. I was doing just a bland baby face. I just started out in the business, been working about a year. And he took me under his wing. We went on the roads, and he's just like, Mike, you're a heel. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I know you. He's like, you're like my best buddy. And he's like, you give me the show off your back. He goes, but I know you. I know your personality. You're a heel. He's like, you come off as arrogant, and you come off as all this stuff. He goes, once people get to know you, they know that's not true. They know you're like one of the best guys in the world. He's like, but when people meet you and you come off as a heel, that's who you are. He goes, let's make Emmy Howerton who you actually are. Just turn it up, just turn it up times 10. And so and I was like, all right. And it's just been, I've been doing that for about 10 years, and it's been great ever since. So that's the only, I know we're talking about making wrestling great again, but if that's what we're truly talking about, making the characters larger than life, so that people care about the characters and care about the people. And I think characters don't mean like an actor character. I mean, they care for the personalities that are involved, and then they get emotionally involved in the matches, and that just makes everything magical to people.
KJ, did I hear you try to step in a moment ago?
Yeah, we were talking about the WWE kind of giving people their gimmicks and, scripts and everything. But then you see somebody like CM Punk who comes in, and he's larger than life, but he has a huge ego. Do you think that sometimes that's a ploy to kind of keep the egos down, and because sometimes you get a Rock, and sometimes you get like Stone Cold, and they play ball. They don't do anything really. Well, Stone Cold kind of did, but anyway. Do you think that that's a control thing that Vince McMahon does? Like, okay, let's see what they have. Let's give them this. Let's give them that. See what they have. So let's test them, and then see if we can control them. Because if they get out of control like CM Punk, we can't control that monster.
I don't know about that. I've never actually met Vince McMahon in person. I never worked for WWE myself. I have some friends that I ran the roads with that have. My buddy Brian Logan, he actually worked for Vince for a little while. With WWE Tag Team Champs for a while with Wolfie D, and actually worked on Raw some and knew Shane and Vince. And I've heard a lot of first-hand stories from him and some of the other guys that I've met running the roads and stuff. No, I wouldn't go that far. I would say I think a lot of giving the guys a character is the control, is not as far as egos, but is the control of Vince owns the name. See, Vince he's more about building a brand and entertainment and the business money side of entertainment. A lot of times we, as wrestling fans, we'll look at it as the pure wrestling side of it, and he's looking at it from the business side. And he got burned a lot of times. Like if I went into WWE right now and I went in as Mike Howerton, that's my actual name. It's on my birth certificate. And then Vince McMahon spends, it's been 5 years building up Mike Howerton, Emmy Howerton, Mike Howerton, whatever. Build me up. And I'm as big as Hawk Hogan, say. And then all of a sudden, there's a new startup promotion, kind of like TNA was or whatever, comes along, and they want to offer me, or even WCW back in the day, by Ted Turner had unlimited funds. And they offer me twice as much money to come be on their TV. Well, Vince made that. He made me a star. He provided the TV and all that stuff. And then I walk off and show up on the Ted Turner show the next day, or you name the promotion in the future. And I walked in using my name. It got built up on his TV that he spent all the money on and created. And then I take that draw over with me. So I think it was more an issue of control. If he gives me a name, then he owns it, and you sign a piece of paper that he owns it. So when you leave, you can't use it. And if you get into the independent circuits, a lot of times when you book certain guys, if you're super small time, you don't usually say anything about using their WWE name. But if you're a medium to big size independent promotion, you can't use their WWE name on the poster. I remember Eugene. That was a big one. People were booking Eugene when he first came off TV, and you couldn't put Eugene on the poster, or Vince would give you a cease and desist letter. You had to put Nick Dinsmore. So I think it has more to do with control that way than it has to do with control of egos. But that's a whole. I hope that answers your question on that. But I would like to touch on the ego part before we go forward. But does that make sense? I think that's why he does it, instead of trying to control the boys' egos as far as giving them the script and controlling their name and their character and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're creative. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, and as far as the egos go, well, man, you're going to have that in wrestling business. I mean, that's something that I stopped messing with a long time ago. As far as the politicking around, people say I do a little bit in the office, but I get involved in a little bit of the office stuff about every promotion I go to, because I do everything. I do everything from wrestling. I used to promoted shows for about 5 years, so like I had to learn the ins and outs of everything. I do video editing work, so where I produce TV, like all the Dirty Roads TV shows. Well, it's a team. I won't say I'm doing it. It's a team effort. I'm doing the raw videos, editing it together into a finished video file, and then I give it over to Dirty's guy, Ed, and Ed takes it and puts some of the window dressings on it and sends it out the door to the TV. And I don't want to degrade what Ed does. He does even more than that. Him and Dirty do the intros to the matches, and they do a lot of stuff on their end. But then there's other promotions I do the whole thing for, from start to finish. WWA, I work for Rock Parsons, and I do a lot of his TV start to finish and put the chirons on the screen and all that stuff and send it out. And, I do that. I've got a wrestling ring. I do ring rentals sometimes. So I do everything from start to finish. So I see a lot of the stuff. I see a lot of the egos. I've booked for a couple of places other than myself. But, wins and losses matter. People say that wrestling is fake or fixed or whatever. I hate to use the word fake, man. I get hit and beat up in the ring, and I've got injuries. I had a concussion and had to go to the hospital and went the whole day worth of memories for a while. I mean, wrestling's not fake. The fix is in, obviously. Nobody's going to, I'm not going to convince anybody that the fix isn't in. That the outcomes may not be predetermined, but wins and losses matter. People get egos because they think that they're at a certain place in their career. I know that after a while, people are like, man, why do I got to go under this? Why am I going under this guy? Why is this guy going to beat me? Why? Because they feel like that they're better than that guy, or because they're afraid that if they start losing matches, they might not get booked as much, possibly, that kind of stuff. Or if they're in a decent promotion, there's a few real good promotions out in the indies anymore, and I know guys that are in those promotions want to protect their territory, protect their spot, not their territory, but protect their spot on the card. And you get into egos that way. I mean, even though we all know things are a work, wins and losses do matter, and especially if you're a heel. Being a heel pretty much my whole career in the wrestling business, wins and losses matter to heel because let's face it, everybody wants to see every fan that buys a ticket. Whenever a good heel's on the card, let's just use me for example. If Emmy Howerton's on the card, and people are emotionally involved with me and attached with me, they want to see somebody kick my butt. I mean, I'm just arrogant, pompous, self-righteous. It's over the top, absurd almost. And people, I think, generally just want to see somebody take their fist and punch me in the face, right? Well, if I go out and I lose every single match, then it takes something away from that. There's no reason. There's no payoff. But if I can cheat and I can basically rob the babyface or rob my opponent of 2 or 3 times, they're finally wanting to see him just murder me. I mean, at that point, they don't even care if he wins or not, as long as he kicks the crap out of me. So I think I hope that addresses you guys a little bit. Other than that, some guys are just jerks. When you travel the road, and especially guys that do it more and more. There was a year and a half of my life that I did nothing but wrestling. That's the only job I had for like a year and a half. And I was out on the road like 4 days a week, and you get guys going from town to town to town, and some of the stuff is childish. Some of the pranks that got pulled. I remember I was with two other guys. We were on a road trip up to Wisconsin, wrestling in a promotion up there, Blue City Wrestling. DeFalco was the promoter. Frankie DeFalco. Back whenever we were all territories in the AWA, I was an AWA promoter. Back when Dale Gagne. He changed his last name was Gagne, but he changed his name, or Gagner or something. He changed his last name to Gagne and claimed that he was like the nephew or something of Dale Gagne, and he sold AWA territories. I bought in when I first started promoting. It was super cheap, like $400 a year, and I got to use all the logos and stuff. And that was all well and good till Vince Newman won. It was one of the territories. Yeah, we all got cease and desist letters as soon as Vince Newman won. I used to have the deal where I sold T-shirts. I sold all the AWA logo T-shirts for Gagne for a while, and made a little money off that. But that all went crashing down after the Vince lawsuit finished up. But anyway, so we went to a promoters convention, and we were up there, and I was with the guys on the road with the guys who wanted to bring our best guys from each of the territories. And we went up there and I had my two best guys with me. And we're in a hotel room, and they stuck my mattress in a shower and turned the shower on and got my mattress all wet. And I came in, I was like, where's my mattress? I found, just stupid stuff, and I'm thinking, crap, this hotel room's on my charge card. I was like, are they going to charge me for a mattress? I'm just sending them to egos. I'm just saying, when guys get on the road and when you're not tied down to one place all the time and you're always traveling, your sense of responsibility goes down, even when it comes to practical jokes and ego as well. There's just all kind of inhibitions kind of lower a little bit because you're in another town the next day. It doesn't matter that people there don't know what you did in the town you just came from. So anyway.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard some of those stories, Mike. We were talking about that not too long ago. If you remember about the Kevin Nash story about what they did to, I think it was Bagwell, how they had put I think someone took a dump in a bag and rolled it up in a paper bag into a magazine and put it in his glove box, and it sat there and he didn't know what it was, and every day he kept getting out of his car and checking his shoe to see if he'd stepped in something, because he was the smell was just so wild there, and it was awful.
It's just like a constant fraternity party. You know what I mean? Like constant when you're on the road all the time.
I don't know, Chris. I think my favorite prank story we heard was the real stink face. It's going to take a lot.
Oh yes.
To top that.
Yes. Brian Christopher, told us about Rikishi doing the real stink face to. Was it Trish?
Trish Stratus.
Yeah, Trish Stratus.
Oh
yes.
Evidently, Trish was ruffling some feathers in the locker room. So Rikishi decided he was going to take a great big giant Samoan dump and not wipe. And Trish received a stink face. And if it's a lie, Brian Christopher told it on this podcast.
Oh my God. That's the first time I've heard that one. Oh man!
I do not. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that by any means.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Hey, look,
wow.
we just wondering something. We had this guy here in the show with us. We call him Killjoy, And we're wondering. We're wondering. We're wondering. See, he has this problem with being on time. Say, like last week, he was 30 minutes late when he's going to be 5
30.
minutes late.
More like 35.
So we're wondering. Play this game.
So we're wondering if you can take him to a room and rough him up a little bit or something.
Hey! Why are we shooting right now? Why are we shooting? What's that all about? Come on. Jesus Christ. Well, next time I'll bring cupcakes and coffee.
What do we do? Take a big body slam and drop a big Emmy Howerton elbow down on him or something?
Come on, look, I'm fragile, okay? Can't you just give me a really firm handshake and call it a day?
Well, these guys are nice enough to invite me on. They're calling the shots right now. And if you haven't seen an Emmy Howerton elbow, I'm going to show you one on tape. I hit the ropes, you get the big toes for about 5 seconds or so, and then drop the big elbow down on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, KJ's so late that you could probably pose for 20 minutes and he wouldn't move.
Dude, what? Can I send in my stunt double? That's all I want to know. That's it. Well, send in my stunt double.
Fine. You're not in ring. You're like Goldberg. You're not in ring condition yet. We'll give you some months to work out and everything and get prepared.
I was never in ring condition. What are you talking about?
Hey, I know I told Mike. Mike is supposed to take the full lead here, but I do have one question I want to ask real quick before Mike takes back over again. I was just wondering, what's it like
Absolutely.
working for Dirty? As far as wrestling for Dirty Rhodes, what's it like with that and everything?
Well, I've been in there for 2 events for him. He is. I'm glad you asked. I was going to mention Dirty and his promotion. That's how I met Mike. You guys invited me on. I've been down there 2 times for him so far. He's taping weekly TV while he's down there, and everything's good. I like it. It's one thing about. I wasn't sure whenever I started the interview if Mike and you guys want me to come on full-fledged Jimmy Howerton, or you just wanted to be Mike Howerton, the guy just talking to you guys about wrestling. I think that's kind of what it's turned into. I love going down there to Dirty's promotion, honestly. A lot of times when you're out on the independent circuit, especially, man, I don't know. I don't want to be one of those guys that it seems like everybody's like that. Like, the older you get, the more you talk about how great it was in the good old days and, like, man, how bad it keeps getting every single year, blah, blah, blah. I mean, everybody's parents and grandparents tell you about the good old days and how great it was and how awful it is now, and it just be like it was then. But I do believe that it's a lot of times, man, with independent wrestling, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. And I'm not saying that about Dirty. I'm saying just the opposite about being at Dirty's. But, like, a lot of places I go, sometimes I'll go, I don't know what I'm going to get when I get there. I don't know if I'm going to get in a ring with somebody that hasn't actually been trained right or properly, and whether or not I got to protect myself safety-wise. I got kids to come home to and a family, and I'm getting older. I'm getting a lot older these days. I'm in my late 30s now, and my body just don't feel the way it used to feel. And you just don't know. You don't know what you're going to get when you get there. Sometimes the products are awful. Sometimes, they said, the guys, you just don't know what level of guys you're going to be with or what kind of boys you're going to be working with. And just as a whole, as a company. And I will say that just being down at Dirty's twice now, it's his only the first 2 events he's ran. He's trying to build something down there. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. I walk in, everybody's professional. The entire place is top notch as far as the locker room being professional with the guys. And it's an enjoyable experience all around. And I really enjoy it. The fans, Dirty's putting a lot of effort into this. And I would encourage any fan that's listening that's in the southern West Virginia area, we will be down at the Bluefield Rec Center here this coming Saturday night at I think the bell time is like 6 or 6:30, something like that. But look at a poster. I usually get down there a lot earlier than that, so I'm already down there. So I'm not sure I know the exact moment of bell time, but yeah, around 6:30. Check it out. He brings in top-notch talent, man, from all around the whole Mid-Atlantic region. I'm not talking about Mid-Atlantic wrestling as far as the Carolinas. I'm talking about, just the whole region, clear up from Pennsylvania, clear down to the Carolinas, and everywhere in between. He brings in top-notch talent. It's a pleasure to be a part and work with everybody down there. So I enjoy it. If you want, I started to get into it a minute ago. I started to get my voice revved up, kind of like, next Saturday night at 7 o'clock at the Sportatorium. Be there. That kind of stuff. But yeah, I encourage everybody. I used to love those promos. They were great. It was like, Emmy Howerton, Brian Logan, Steel Cage. Fans, you don't want to miss it. The Sportatorium, Saturday night, 8 o'clock. I used to love those promos. They were great. Oh, that's another thing. People back in the day were always selling the product. That's what they didn't understand. Everything, like a lot of wrestling TV was just a 30-minute infomercial for the live event coming up next week, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, or an hour infomercial. They were just trying to sell the live event. And all the guys that was on there would cut a promo, and they'd be like, wherever we're going to be, whatever town, be there. You don't want to miss, you don't want to miss any Howerton in the ring taking on, whoever's taking on. And I think a lot of the guys today that in the wrestling business, a lot of the workers, and I'm not talking about the guys that you would consider, lower tier guys as far as young or green or not trained. I'm talking about across the board. Most of us don't realize that we're actually out there as salesmen for the promoter trying to sell the company and sell tickets and sell people getting there. So I always will do a shameless plug for whatever show I'm on, trying to get people to show up and always trying to sell the product. So yeah, I like working for Dirty so far. It's been great, and the commentary was fun. Me and Mike were doing the commentary with him, and I've enjoyed everybody I've met down there. Real class act, professional people so far.
Now, Mike, the next event, is it at the Bluefield Rec Center, or is it back at the Princeton Rec Center where you guys were at the last time?
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. It's the Princeton Rec Center. You're absolutely right. It's Princeton Rec Center. I haven't been down to the southern part of West Virginia in a while until I started working for Dirty again, and it's the same exit off the interstate. I think Bluefield and Princeton's the exact same exit. You're right. It's Princeton Rec Center. So anybody out there that was listening, they're on the Bluefield. What it is, I got confused because Bluefield's got the TV station. They're on the Bluefield CW channel every Sunday from 12 to 1. But they're in the Princeton Rec Center when they go and do the shows. You're right, Mike. Thanks for correcting me. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Hey, I traveled 2.5 hours the last time, and if I can swing babysitters for this Saturday, I'll be there again.
Yeah, I have to do the same thing. It's about a 3-hour drive for me, and yeah, I always got to swing the babysitters too.
And this is only the second indie show that I'd been to in probably the last 5 or 6 years, and it was far superior to the one that the last one I attended, which was in Clarksburg, West Virginia, and it was just not even the same kind of feel. This was definitely a completely different ball game for me as what I saw between the two indie promotions. So that brings me to the question. What was the last one
you seen, Mike?
Oh man, I can't remember, to be quite honest with you. It was a number.
605?
Oh.
Yes, 605. That's what it was.
Okay.
Hey,
because the reason I asked that question, you said they had Jason Kincaid there at that show. I believe he was on there when then.
They did.
I've been seeing a lot of him on YouTube and stuff, and I think he's great too. I mean,
he was wrestling some guy with blonde hair, and
I know it was. It was Jason Kincaid versus Benny Conley. And that was like one of their first 605 TV episodes.
Yeah.
It was shortly after that, about 3 months or so after that, or 4 months after that, I got hooked up with 605, and I started doing their video and TV episodes for them, and their video and wrestling for them a little bit, and then I started doing ring reels for them and stuff. So yeah, I know the 605 crew. They were up at the what was that building? It was the Uptown Event Center in Clarksburg, West Virginia.
Yeah, it used to be the old YWCA up there, and it was like the venue was so small that it felt like the crowd was huge.
Yep.
I was there. Another buddy of mine was there. Of course, like I said, that was a while ago. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a couple of years ago.
It's been a while, but it just seemed it wasn't as well put together as the Dirty Road show, as far in my opinion. But that was just me.
Well, I think it's there. I don't want to talk bad about 605 at all. I do just say this, that 605 was just running live events. I mean, I was taping some TV format shortly after that. You know, I was trying to get a little more TV formatted type approach. But Dirty came in with the idea that he was running video TV. Like, that's what he was doing. So he's coming in, and like some of us will wrestle twice or 3 times or whatever. And then so we'll go in on this coming Saturday. We're going into the event, and there may be 12 matches or more, right, on a live event. And they're a lot of times it's a little bit shorter matches. So you're still working within a 2.5 hour, 3 hour window or so. But the idea going in for Dirty is, hey, this is a production. So we're coming in and producing this for TV. And so where 605 and a lot of other indie promotions is, they're going into it for the live event. And it's a little different philosophy. So I'm not saying anything negative about 605. I've worked with those companies and like those companies, but I will say that the mentality, when you go in with the mentality of we're producing a television product to be shown on TV, I want to say the mindset is just a little different when it comes into what you're putting out. If that makes sense.
I'm sure now that Emmy Howerton is a part of it, making wrestling great again. I'm sure that you've improved it vastly. So the next time they roll into the Clarksburg area, hey, I'm still going to go because I'm like everybody else here. I love wrestling. I love wrestling the way it should be, not what we get force-fed a lot of time in the mainstream media from the big company.
Sure.
And that small feeling, those guys that go out there and they're there to work because they love it. And that's what makes me love it. So I'm going to go.
I haven't had much luck on my end here as far as wrestling goes. We don't get anything come through here, it seems. I'm in Panama City in Florida.
Where are you at? Panama City, Florida. Okay.
Yeah, well, we get New Heights Wrestling that comes through every now and then, and we get a small company called WIW, which once every blue moon comes through. But New Heights is probably the bigger of the two. And, you know, they've had people like Paul Jourdain and Ryan O'Shun and Big Sean Studd that just came out recently. He's making his way around. And they've had names like that come through, but they don't come through here that often. I mean, it's like once or twice a year. Once they come to Panama City and once about an hour away from here. And I've had to work both times, unfortunately, and haven't got to go. But I don't get that same treat here a lot of people get. I've noticed in the Carolinas, it seems to be really big in the Carolinas. A lot of indie shows there.
Well, and I will say from a promoter standpoint, there's some towns that are more friendly to wrestling. You know, with wrestling, in order to promote a town, you need a few things. I mean, you need some good buildings, you know, that's got a high enough ceiling, it's got a big enough capacity, and you need a reasonable price. You know what I mean? Like man, wrestling shows used to love to run National Guard armories. They used to be a reasonable price. I remember when I was running shows, I was really good at Buchanan, West Virginia sometimes. It was Spot Town for me. And for any of the wrestling fans that's listening, Spot Town's just you know, wrestling worker and promoter jargon for a town you don't normally run regularly, but you pick up every once in a while. And so we would pick it up, and we would run the National Guard Army there, and we got about a little over $300 for an event, and that was on the high end for what I usually like to pay for building, but it was still reasonable. But you know, you gotta have, when you start getting more expensive than that, you know, like in Parkersburg, West Virginia, where I grew up. I live close to there now, but I grew up in Parkersburg, West Virginia, up in the northern half of the state. They had a National Guard Armory there. Man, wrestling used to go there all the time in the 70s and 80s, and even early 90s when I was a kid. And they packed that place out. But then they just started jacking up the rent. I think I checked on what the Armory would cost to rent when I first started promoting, to have like a real big show and bring in some names and stuff. And they wanted like $1,200 for the day. And I'm like, oh my goodness! I mean, you're talking if I sold tickets for $10 a piece, and that was probably 10 years ago. And if I sold tickets for $10 a piece, I'd have to draw 100 people or 120 people before I paid one other bill. You know, before I paid one wrestler, before I paid for a ring, before I paid for advertising, anything. And so really, there's some towns that just there's no affordable buildings to run in. And then sometimes there's some politics involved with the, you know, local government. That there's some towns. I know Oak Hill, West Virginia, down the southern part of West Virginia, it was very anti-wrestling for a long time, and I mean, you just couldn't get a wrestling promotion in that town. The city government just didn't want it for whatever reason. I don't know. But so you know, but you'll also, but on the flip side, and this is where the rec center down there in Princeton is. You'll get some towns that just are very wrestling friendly. I don't know if it's because they're trying to be, or they just have the perfect combination of a decent, you know, an okay population for the area, so you can have some people to draw in. You know, the available pool of people to come is large enough to where you're okay. I can probably make some money here, and then they have a decent building that would look okay and hold people, has a high enough ceiling for a wrestling ring, and it costs. You know, a lot of times gyms, like the Princeton Rec Center is a gym, you know, a basketball gym, and a basketball court. So, and the price has got to be right. Well, when you find those combinations, everybody, anymore, there's no respect for somebody running a town or running an area. So you'll have 3-4 promotions all start running that town, and that just kills it. That kills wrestling. And the wrestlers are just as guilty as the promoters that do it, because you'll have the same guy. You'll have the same guy working all 3 or 4 promotions in the same town. And so why in the world would they pay to see Emmy Howerton Friday night wrestling for Jim Bob whenever the next week I'm wrestling for Billy Bob or John Smith or John Doe the next week in the same town at the same building for $1 cheaper, or maybe they're I have no idea. Maybe they got something going in their life, like they're just out to dinner with some friends, and they think, well, I'll just skip wrestling this week because I can just see Andy Howerton next week. It's so and so other. I've seen people run. They run the crap out of towns, and they run them in the ground. Huntington, West Virginia was one of those towns, man. Oh, like 5 or 6 years ago, they had like 3 or 4 promotions running that same town, and man, one of them was running every Friday and Saturday night, the same promotion every week. Like every Friday and Saturday, and then I think the best promotion in that town at the time was something called 304 Wrestling. A guy by the name of Tom, and I can't remember Tom's last name. He was a DJ on the radio. He was running the best one, and he was drawing okay. Maybe 150 or so for West Virginia. That's pretty good based on the population of the area. And the other ones weren't drawing that good because they were just running the town down. Tom ran a lot less. He made 304 Wrestling a big thing, a big event. People felt like they were missing something, but they missed it. But the rest of them were just running against each other, same nights, every week. It was just. And so I've seen one or the other. It's hardly ever see a town anymore where one promotion runs it. They run it pretty regularly, and you got a good thing going. Usually nobody runs it because for whatever reason it's not friendly to the wrestling business as a whole. And it may not be an attitude that somebody directly has, but just indirectly through circumstances. Or it's a friendly town to wrestling business, and people just run the crap out of it, and promoters run against each other and just run it into the ground. You hardly ever find the happy.
And that's a problem we have here in this state, Mike. I'm from Buchanan. You mentioned Buchanan. We don't have a lot of populous places. Population is pretty spread far out, and it's not concentrated, but just in a very few, areas. Yeah. So it'd be hard. It really would. And I don't know what Chris's problem is down there in Panama City. If there's just too many old fogies down there. I mean, he decided to move down in there where you smell Bengay, and every diner down there has Geritol on tap. It's just it's crazy.
When you get to Panama City, also property, real estate prices. I know there was when I used to be part of the AWA, we had I can't remember how many territories there were. We had it was like 20 or so, and they had these big conventions and the promoters meetings. We walk in and I would talk to people down in Georgia. The promoter, there was a guy from a territory in Florida. And a lot of times, it's not that the town's not friendly, they don't like wrestling, but you get to Panama City and a couple of places down there. Sometimes you get places around the beach and in Florida in different areas and different cities where the price of real estate is so high just to rent for one day that it's worth it. I mean, fair market value, it's worth whatever it is they're charging rent. Otherwise, they wouldn't be charging it. If it wasn't worth it, nobody'd be renting it and have to come down in price. So obviously it's worth it, but the problem is that in order to build up wrestling and to be able to pay all the wrestlers and everything else that goes along with wrestling, it's not worth it to us as a promoter. I'm saying us, I mean the promoter. So that's sad for the fans, but there's just some areas that's just the case. It's just hard to find a piece of real estate that's affordable enough.
Well, Mike,
most of them that come here. Most of them that come here, I'm sorry, Mike. Most of them that come here do hit the gyms, like the local school gyms and all. But you're right about that. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Mike, take the lead. Mike, take the lead, and I'm going to come and screw it all up for you, Mike, because my name is Chris, and this is my podcast.
I had a surge of Bengay that hit me, and it made me jump out of my seat, and I had to say something.
Somebody gave you some Metamucil, didn't they?
They did. I got a little pep in my step now.
Well, Mike, we don't want to keep you too long. So, coming up in the future. Okay, go ahead.
I'll tell you one story before I go. So I will say this: you need to look. I love guys in the professional wrestling business that are in it that they care about it. They treat it just like a regular job that they have anywhere else. It may not be their full-time job, but they'll treat it at least as a part-time second job and be serious about it. And everybody needs, if you're in the wrestling business, you need to try to make money at it. It may not be something that you do full-time necessarily, but I like to see guys, and if anybody that's listening that's breaking into the business, I'm not an expert, but I've been doing it for about 10 years, promoted for about 5 of it, and just travel around and stuff. And if I'm not going places, like my wife Like, I wasn't married when I first started wrestling. My wife had nothing to do with wrestling. She's been to one wrestling event ever, you know. And there was times before we met where I was on the road 4 days a week, every week, all year long. And now I'm older. I got a couple little kids, so I cut down, but a little bit. But I still go, and every time I go, I better come home making some money, or she's going to get mad. It ain't going to work. And so, you know, I would tell the guys out there that's breaking in, and this is better for fans as well, and that is, present yourself professionally, get something to sell. You know, if the wrestler gives you a little bit of, not the wrestler, if the promoter gives you a little bit of money to get there, then it's your job to make the rest of your money while you're there. Like, I usually sell wrestling masks when I go. I got some T-shirts that's got Emmy Howerton on it. You know, Emmy Howerton for President 2020. Pick one up at a wrestling show near you. But, you know, and you got different things. I do the camera stuff, which is unique. It's kind of a niche that most people don't do, and ring rentals and stuff. But even without that stuff, I used to just go and wrestle on a show, and the promoter give me a few bucks to get there and back, and I make, 4 or 5 times that selling stuff and doing different things. It was a good show. And where I'm going with that is promoters are the same way. The thing that bothers me the most on the indie wrestling circuit is, and I have my good friend Rock Parsons, said this back in a book that he was writing in, and he was talking about, so people asked him the question, he's promoted wrestling for over 20 years or so, 20, 30 years, something like that. And promoters, when they get in the business, ask him this question all the time. They say, Rock, when do you start seeing profit? When do you start making money? We realize we got to build something here and create a fan base and all this stuff. When do we start seeing money? And his answer is the very first show. He's like, if you're not making money at wrestling, then you shouldn't be doing it. If you can't make money as a promoter, you shouldn't be there. Because A, you're going to run yourself on the ground and go bankrupt, and B, you're hindering people who can make money at it by running like the same area since town they're in. And we were setting, this is the story. So we were sitting at a promoters meeting with the AWA, and me and my buddy Brian Logan was in the meeting. And me and him were running shows together. I owned the northern half of West Virginia. He did the southern half. And actually, I was a secondary territory promoter underneath him. But he ran southern West Virginia. I ran northern West Virginia. We came together in the middle for like Buchanan and ran it together for about a year. So we were sitting in this meeting, and all these promoters were talking about, with the shows they were running, and they were only running maybe a few shows a year and losing money at it and this and that. And they looked at me and Brian, and they saw our schedule. Me and him, we were running like 3 shows a month, every month. And that was back during a year and a half that's all I did was professional wrestling. That's my sole job, promoting and ring rentals and working shows and stuff. And they looked at us and said, how in the world can you guys afford to run so many shows? And me and him looked at each other and looked at them. We were on different planets. We looked at them and said, how could we afford not to? Like, this is how we pay our house payment. This is how we pay our electric bill. This is how we eat. Like, how could we afford not to run shows? And the room went silent. Everybody started staring at each other. To them, it was a losing concept. They had like a lawyer there that I think was using it as a tax write-off. And a couple other guys that were a lot of times promoters would run their own shows to put themselves over. If they lose a few bucks, they don't care. That they're wrestlers as well. But we were like, man, we're doing this to make money. If we weren't making money, we wouldn't be doing it. And if we weren't running shows, we wouldn't be eating. So I mean, it's not a funny ha-ha story, but it's just that's how serious that we should take the wrestling business. We should treat it as an actual business. And if we started treating it as an actual business, and we help the guys learn how to be themselves and be a character and get people emotionally involved, that will make wrestling great again. Kind of came full circle. We started with kind of a joke about me saying how to make wrestling great again, the Donald Trump thing, back to being serious. I think that's really what would make wrestling great again.
Did I lose everybody?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I thought I lost everybody for a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought I lost you guys too.
There was definitely a technical glitch with Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, I was like, hello. Hello. Yeah, we just want to thank you for coming on the show with us this week. Mike, really appreciate you coming on. We like Dirty Rhodes a lot. We had him on the show a few weeks back, and He told us all about the promotion. Sounds like a great deal. If you guys ever do make it down this way, let me know. I'll make a point to come to the show and everything. And Mike, if you do go back to the show this weekend, let us know how it turns out again, like last time. Get us what we want here, since we can't be there in person to see it ourselves too. So,
I'll tell you what, if you guys want to watch it and you want to pick it up, they have a website out there, you can go to their website and you can actually watch the TVs if you don't live in the Bluefield area to get to pick it up on TV. You can watch on their website. I think they're charging like $5 for an hour episode. So if you guys wanted to watch it there, you can do that as well.
See, he's got you covered on consuming his material, Chris. Dirty Roads.
There you go.
He's got this thing figured out. Now, Emmy Howerton, if I make it down this weekend, and I hope to, I take a size large shirt. And if you're good, I won't put you in a headlock to get it.
All right, we'll do that, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. I know I talked a lot, but hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe we'll do it again some other time.
Hey, that's what podcasts are all about, talking.
All right. Well, I know you guys want to do some talking, too. That's why you're getting rid of me. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Yep, bye.
All right, Mike, that was Mr. M.E.
Howerton. Making wrestling great again.
Exactly, here to make wrestling great again. I see his website. I see his Facebook here for President 2020, the big presidential button. It looks like he's running for president.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of cool there. So, Killjoy.
Yes.
Now, I just want you to know it was Mike's idea completely to get you whipped by a wrestler, okay? I would never have nothing to do with that personally.
You're so full of shit, it's not even funny. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sure you would be like, I'm sure you would be like, oh no, Mike, don't do it. And you would use that voice too. Oh no, Mike, no, don't do it. Think of Killjoy. Think of his children.
You know what, Killjoy? You know what, Killjoy? I'm not even going to try to hide it. I cannot wait to see the sparkles fly off of you when Emmy drops the elbow on your candy ass.
He's going to catch me first.
Oh, man. So, look,
all he's got to do is find you sleeping on the couch, because we all know that's why you were late last week. You fell asleep on the couch with a box of Dunkin' Donuts on your chest and Starbucks next to you on the floor.
It was not Starbucks. It was Dunkin' Donuts. And
there you go.
Who told you that happened?
We don't reveal our sources. We don't reveal our sources, Mike. Right?
I'm like Santa Claus, KJ. I'm everywhere.
That sounded much creepier than it should have.
He's everywhere. So look, did you guys see the pre-show this week? I mean, tonight I didn't see the pre-show at all.
No, I didn't see the pre-show. Who cares about the pre-show? Let's talk about the pay-per-view.
I saw the pre-show, and
so you'll
the
show
thing.
up on time. You'll show up on time for the damn pay-per-view, but you won't show up on time for the podcast.
I was here on time today. Jeez, man. How long is it going to take?
So what happened?
How long until I'm one of you guys again?
Tell us about the pre-show. We were not privy to it. Tell us all about it.
It's very simple. If you were some kind of gimmick tag team jobbers, you were in the 10-man match. Pretty much.
Wow.
There was like 4 tag teams and what's his name? Apollo Crews. I'm trying to think who was on the back. No, everything else was tag. It was very weird. It was like a 5-man, but it was very weird. Let's see. It was the Alpha Males, the Hype Bros, and Apollo Crews. On the other side, it was the Vaudevillains, the Ascension,
right,
and somebody else that's so insignificant. Obviously, I don't care about. But it was a decent match. It wasn't like the Usos are in there or anything. But I mean, for what it was a decent match. But it was also forgettable. And the Alpha Males pulled it out.
So that really ties into what Chris was talking to me earlier about, how the WWE's really got their head up their own ass because they have this wonderful tag team division that they're building up at SmackDown, but yet they throw together Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton and push them in the title picture. This is Chewbacca. Chewbacca is a Wookiee. He lives on Endor with the Ewoks. This does not make sense.
I'm not really for it. I'm not really for it. That's why I've pretty much made my feelings on that before. I don't know why you build up American Alpha as big as you have just to shoot them back down and, take the loss to Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. And like I told Mike before the show started, Killjoy, I don't know if you caught this or not, JBL is referring to them as a great a tag team as Kane and The Undertaker together and as great as a tag team as Brody and Hanson together. Who?
JBL.
Orton and Wyatt says JBL. I know he's just talking. He's just talking to talk. But I mean, to compare them to them.
If you see my mouth right now, it's the Negro please smirk. Like, really? Because
it's like JBL took a piece of wrestling history, ripped it off of the wall of the shrine, and wiped his ass with it.
They're a good tag team. Don't get me wrong. Good tag team.
They're not a tag team though. They're not really a tag team. They're
not really.
They're two individual superstars that they don't have anything else to do with at this point in time. So they put them in a tag team and threw them a bone with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. My thing is this. You had an opportunity to make the Wyatts, like I said, and I'll say it a billion times, 2 or 3 years ago, when they first burst on the scene. They had the whole Wyatt family. You could have made them monster heels. You could have made them take over the WWE. You gave them glimpses of that, and then you took it away with what's his name? John Cena, which again, they saddled John Cena to be the bad guy. And you put these two together, and it's not organic. It's not organic. It came out of nowhere. It was a weird surprise. There's surprises, and then there's like, what? Why are you even doing that? And he's trying to do a divide and conquer. What is he trying to do? What's the end game for the Wyatts? It makes no sense. I'm happy that they finally have some titles, but I don't like that they're doing it with this duo or like trio or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well, now basically over on Raw, we have the New Day, which is a 3-man campy feel-good group. And now, over on SmackDown, we have the Wyatt family, which is basically a creepy, campy, not so feel-good group, but it's pretty much the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Just the flip side, the yin to the yang.
Exactly. But still, you have this creepiness. And, that's a great factor, but...
But it's campy. It's really... It's not the Undertaker creepiness.
No, not at all.
It's not that. It's more of a B sci-fi horror show or crazy uncle that drinks too much creepiness.
They had an opportunity, as I said before. They had an opportunity.
And they ruined it.
To make them rock stars. Bray jobs every other match or pay-per-view.
Yep.
They have these big ideas and then they go nowhere with them.
Well,
I'm sorry, they're the most disappointing. It's almost a tragedy what they're doing. It really is.
It truly is. And then you have Orton on the flip side. That seems like every third or fourth pay-per-view he's in, he gets injured and he's out for 6 months to a year.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I don't understand it either. But they wind up winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championship from Rhino and Slater. We all knew that ride was going to end sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? There's only so much you can do with Rhino and Slater. I mean, they looked pretty good tonight. It's just a matter of, what do you...
Well, there you go. They're not a tag team. They're just two guys that they threw together because at the time, Slater was on fire, and Rhino wasn't doing anything. So it's like, hey, let's throw these guys together and throw some straps on them and see what happens.
Yeah,
so
then the novelty wore off.
As far as these two guys go as a tag team, are they going to keep them as a tag team, or I mean, what? Are they going to put them separate things? That they're going to put like Heath Slater as a one-man band on 205 Live, and let Rhino do something different? What are they going to do here?
Isn't he big? Isn't he bigger than the 205? I think he would be bigger, considered bigger.
Yeah, he's too big. He's too big for 205.
Too big.
I would think you would be too, but I was watching that the first show of 205 Live they had, and they had Austin Aries there in the commentary booth saying he was scouting the competition. What's up with that? Isn't he bigger than 205?
Probably
no.
not.
I just think he's he's a compact guy. He's short and compact.
Yeah.
Whereas what's his name? Heath Slater is like tall.
Yeah,
he's a taller, longer, lengthier guy. Yeah, so he probably holds the weight that would hold 6'4". You know what I mean? And I don't think it would be 205.
I mean, yeah. Think about how much easier. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. I said Austin Aries is 5'9" and 202 pounds. It says here, so I guess he would kind of fit to be able to be in the 205 if they really wanted him there. But would it be a waste of his talent though, in 205 Live?
It would probably be better for him. Where else is he going to go and do any better within the WWE? Nowhere. I mean, you've got guys like. Well, yeah, but he can't stay in NXT forever.
No.
And so, I mean, because you've got guys like Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt who are relegated to the SmackDown Tag Championships, two people who should be in contention for at least an Intercontinental or a United States type title, but they're stuck at the world, not even at the world, at the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And you've got guys like Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles that are on top of the heap right now. On one flip side, and where does Austin Aries fit into this? With Dolph Ziggler, if he goes to the main roster and he tries to compete on it, or with Adrian Neville.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say a guy like Adrian Neville. Let's face it, and I hate to say, guys my size, I'm 5'9". Guys my size would never be, unless they're Chris Benoit. You know what I mean? Like Chris Benoit was or somebody like Dynamite Kid, were the exceptions to the rule, because as quick as they were also just so ferocious. Like, you could see Chris Benoit beating the shit out of somebody. Doesn't matter who it is, Big Show, whatever. But, like, I could see him beating Baron Corbin. I could see him beating any of the guys, AJ Styles or any of those guys, because he was just an animal. He was just so ferocious that you could believe that this guy's going to rip into you. When you heard that music, you're like, oh, shit, here we go. So, but guys generally 5'9" and shorter, they don't have a chance. They don't stand a chance. He's not like, let me put it this way, if he went against CM Punk when he was considered best in the world and Aries was considered best in the world at one time, then yeah, because Punk is not a big monster. You could beat Punk. But let's face it, he's going against the bigger guys. He's just not. I'm sorry. I don't think Austin Aries could do too much to anybody.
Yeah, good God, Kevin Owens would just sit on him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You get a guy like Kevin Owens who could just, you get guys like Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt would kill him.
Yeah.
Because he's just short and compact. And I was telling somebody tonight, I'm like, that's a scary guy. And again, I'm so pissed off what they do with Bray. Because here's a guy that can move. He's explosive when he wants to be. He's very unpredictable. And he's as strong, if not stronger, which they don't play up on, as anybody on the roster. Anybody. He talks what's his name? He tosses John Cena in the air like he was nothing when they wrestled. Like he was a rag doll. Nobody even says anything. They'll say something when Cesaro does it. They say something when Braun Strowman does it. But when it comes to him, like, he's just a hidden gem. I don't even want to talk about it. Move on.
Good Lord, Strowman ought to be able to throw 4 or 5 guys in the air at one time without any pause, and without breaking a sweat.
Exactly. But still, for somebody, if you look at somebody, and Bray Wyatt's not like, what is he, like 6'3"? He's not a big, tall guy. He's compact. But here's a guy that just is something special. I don't understand. He talks on the mic. He can wrestle. He can move. He's strong. Like, where's the disconnect? Like, what did he lose a bet?
We've talked about this too before in the past, KJ, before you came in, that he has a tendency to get injured, just like Randy Orton.
Yeah, that's
Every time he goes for a freaking big push, he gets hurt.
Yeah, you're right.
I've said it once before. I've said it 1,000 times. I know I'll say it one more time. People like Austin Aries, Heath Slater, even Dolph Ziggler to this point these days, the way they use him, Jack Swagger, it goes on. We can name like a dozen people easily, probably between the three of us if we wanted to. These are the people who should be moving away from the company and going on to either a TNA or a Ring of Honor or something, and trying to just go there to help rekindle a new company and help them make it bigger again. I mean, look, you get people at TNA. I know it's TNA, and we make fun of them all the time, but it's not like they don't have some talent there. And if you bring in a lot more talent and put them in the mix, it can be something fun to watch, if they ever was to get that. But then again, like Bob Cook had said before being on the show with us, why do they want to take lesser money to go do more hard work and take more bumps so they can take lesser money to sit there and not do anything, and Vince keeps them on his payroll to not be there for the other company? I forget who it was that said it. I don't know if it was one of you guys or if I read this somewhere about Nakamura. It's not that Vince really wanted Nakamura. He just didn't want him in Japan, showing out for Japan. So he bought him out and brought him over here.
Yeah, but I think Nakamura could leave at any time and go to Japan. You know what I mean? Like he can make Japan money. And make Japan money. Because Japan money's not bad. I'm telling you, it's not bad. That's why Kenny Omega's still over there.
It's not bad, but he's going to work more, is what Chris is saying. He's not going to just do NXT shows and get paid to do, I don't know, I'm just going to assume it's half the work or less than he would doing the Japan work.
But what it's going to take, it's going to take these guys to get cut from the company. They have to be cut. And they can't come back here and work there for them to be able to go ahead and take that turn and go back to a company like that. It'll take something that drastic to get them on a show of that nature. Just like that's why it took, what's he go by now? Damien Sandow. What's the name he goes by? Aaron Rex.
Aaron Rex. Yeah, Aaron Rex.
Yeah, that's why it took Aaron Rex. We'll call him that now instead of Sandow. That's why it took him that to get to where he is there, because they weren't using him properly there, and they just finally let him go. Cody Rhodes asked to be let go. You know, Cody Rhodes can't even use the last name Rhodes wherever he goes for the most part now. He just has to go by Cody or something because, WWE, I guess, has the rights to the name Rhodes now.
That's so scumbagish, it's not even funny. That's a scumbag.
Yeah, and so he can't do that.
Well, isn't his legal last name Rhodes, though?
No, Reynolds.
I thought that Dusty changed it, though, before.
No.
Because I know Goldust's real last name is Reynolds. But I thought that Dusty saw it and maybe not. I'll find out.
No, but I'm sorry, that's a shitty thing to do. His dad didn't die that long ago, so what are you going to do? Do you really think that Dusty would have been all about, oh yeah, take my son's last name. In fact, take the name that I made famous for years. Go ahead, knock yourself out, do that. Like that's I don't know. That's just scumbaggish. Like you have enough money. There's no reason no reason at all for you to do that. I don't care who you are, what he's done. He hasn't done. There's no way that he did anything, and it's not like, come on, stop.
I did just check for you, Mike. It's showing on here birth name Cody Garrett Runnels is what it's got. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he started showing up under the name Cody Garrett from this point forward, possibly. You never know. Or just Cody. You know?
He could also take the Ultimate Warrior's route and legally change his name.
Shit,
He
right?
could, yes. But now, going on to the next match here, one of the first of the two women's matches, you had Nikki Bella and Carmella. I know, Mike, you're not a fan of either one of them for the most part when it comes down to it, but you did make a comment the other day, though, in your rant about Nikki Bella probably being the one with the most talent on the roster for the most part.
And I'd like to clear that up, that what I mean is for the entire package. She can talk and she can sort of wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying she's the best wrestling talent.
So, you know,
I'm not saying that she's the best wrestling talent on the roster, because that would either go to Becky Lynch or Natty. But as far as the entire appeal, the entire microphone skill, the way she works the crowd, she's probably what they got as far as the entire package. And
so what do you guys think about
before KJ takes a breath, I think this women's match was better than the women's title match in a lot of ways.
So what you think of the end of the match there, Mike? Whenever the Carmella made the announcement, she wasn't the one that jumped on her, and she called Natty out for being the one that jumped her.
I think it's a great lead into for a good feud between Nikki and Natty. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see Carmella still until the proof comes out, because there's going to be some proof come out that it was Natty, that she wanted to be in the Survivor Series match, and she felt slighted because they put Nikki in instead of her. I think it's going to set up something nice there as an outside of the women's title sort of feud for us to see, and it'll be a nice leeway to get Natty back in the ring more, because she hasn't been in the ring enough. She hasn't been outperforming enough. She is probably, in my opinion, the best in-ring wrestling talent in the women's division on SmackDown.
Killjoy?
As far as Carmella is concerned, if there's a way for her to get hit by a bus without breaking every bone in her body, but she's not allowed to wrestle anymore, I would be so happy. But anyway, and getting to what's her name? Nikki? Is she the one? It is Nikki. The boobs are Nikki. Okay, cool.
Right.
So Nikki is a star. So I'm gonna piggyback on what Mike said. Do I think she's the greatest thing? No. Do I think she's perfectly the great companion to John Cena, if you think about it? She only has a handful of moves, and he does, and they're just about good enough. That's basically them. So in essence, I didn't like the match. And it wasn't anything I would expect to like, to be quite honest. There was a couple of good points where Nikki did that like kick to Carmella's dome. Other than that, and that like, what is it? That stupid extinguisher thing. That's all right. I would have liked to see her like do the extinguisher. She turned around and hit her with the extinguisher, and then knock her out and then hit her. But whatever. In a perfect world, they wouldn't even be having this match. But at any rate, that's pretty much it. That's my take on it. It's whatever. That's how I feel.
I thought it was an okay overall match, and I had to disagree with Mike on the part of being the better of the two. I did like the other women's match better than that one, but only slightly better.
Yes.
I do like Nikki Bella as one of the wrestlers on the roster. To me, she kind of gives when she's healed anyway, she gives that Charlotte heel kind of feel. She's not as talented as Charlotte, but she can really work the crowd in a bad way and make you kind of hate her, because she has that the popular schoolgirl hate thing where, you know, it's like, I'm better than all of y'all, and you know it, and you hate him for it, but she's still the most popular in school. She kind of gives you that feel, but...
Let's just put it this way. She's a star. I don't care. We can sit there and bag on her till the cows come home. Nikki Bella, both of the Bella twins, but mainly Nikki, is a star, and it's not because of the boobs. It's the way she carries herself. She has it. She knows it. She's been in the business long enough. She can garner either, you know, yays or boobs. You know, that's just the way. That's just the way that it is.
Does she really know it, or did John Cena teach it to her?
You gotta have it, dude. You have to have that.
Because there was a long time when the Bella twins didn't have it.
I think you just get it over time, though. You develop it. I mean, you might be nervous at first.
Yeah.
You know, right. You can develop it.
But here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. You have to have it. There are people like that have tried for years to try to get that it factor or whatever.
Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns.
Everybody bags on Roman Reigns. I really don't see it, dude. I'm not saying he's the greatest, and I'm not even saying that he should be in the main. I think he's a lot better than people think. Do I think he's the greatest? No.
A lot better at what? A Superman punch?
He is fun to watch in the ring.
He so dry on the microphone.
He can be fun to watch in the ring.
Drink of water.
No, listen to me. Okay, the Superman punch, it was given, but but regardless of what people think, that's an exciting move. I don't care what anybody says. He's up in the air going for the punch. You're like, it's not like he's doing the worm.
I say, oh God. This is what I say. I say, oh God, here comes the Superman punch. I wonder if there's a comet coming towards Earth that needs deflected, because everything that the Superman punch touches either crumbles and falls and is pinned or is deflected away. It can magically deflect chair shots. It can magically deflect steel steps. Okay. I think if he punched Superman punched the ring post, it would bend.
Okay, I will give you. Listen, that I will give you. I'm saying you take that all away. Let's just take that all away. And let's just say that he does it in a regular match. I like that. I don't see. They're the ones that give Roman Reigns the super. They make him the Superman. They make him the new Cena. We are waiting for what we've all been waiting for. There's no reason for it. He's not Make-A-Wish. Make him heel. And you'll watch everybody love him.
I'm waiting for him to get into a match with Ming. So when he tries the Superman punch, his hand disintegrates against that hard head.
Ming can say, what? Look, let me say this about it, and then we'll go on to the Miz and Ziggler, because I want to talk about that for sure in just a second.
Okay.
As far as Roman Reigns goes and the way that they portray him, Mike, when Jerry Lawler was at his peak, all he did was throw the right punch, do a hip toss sometimes, maybe snapmare him down, kneel down, punch him in the face, come off the second rope with the fist for a punch, occasionally do a back body drop to somebody and some form of a clothesline, and maybe every blue moon he'd throw in a suplex to show that he does know some wrestling. But Jerry Lawler could do no wrong in the fans' eyes. The pile driver at the end of the match, yes, pile driver, or when the referee wasn't looking. But in the fans' eyes, Jerry Lawler could do no wrong. He was it.
How tall was he? How tall was
about as tall as I am. 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", somewhere in there.
He beat all the monsters.
It's the same thing about what we're saying about Roman Reigns. Although Reigns is more like the monster than what Jerry Lawler would have been, he's given that free reign, for example, to be the guy, to be the main guy, to be the one that's going to beat people, to be the one to put the company on his shoulders or something, and say, hey, this is going to be our guy here soon. We're going to start pushing him on through some more and getting him some more spotlight again, because the first push didn't work like they wanted it to. Some things happened. He got the whole wellness policy issue. Now they're trying to work him back up slowly back into the eyes of the fans again. What they need to do eventually, whenever they do the whole Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho thing, if it comes to fruition like we hope so, they need to make sure Kevin Owens takes the face turn with Jericho staying the heel, and then turn Roman Reigns heel similar to around that time as well, and have him go for the belt at that point, because he needs to be heel, like you say. He does.
I don't see them putting the Owens at face. I see them doing that to Jericho.
I mean, it could be a short-term thing, if anything. You don't have to last long at all. But Jericho does a lot better job as the heel as he does as the face anyway. Owens can pull both off if he needs to. He's done them both pretty well. But the Miz and Ziggler thing, a lot of people dump on the Miz and say the Miz is just garbage and everything. And I understand it's not what everybody wants, but we got to give some credit where it's due at least here. He is a multi-time champion. He does make the crowd hate him. You know, he shows up for the matches. He puts on a good show. He can talk on the mic. Puts in extra work after the matches, like on the Smack Talk show on the network. I just watched some of that earlier. He come out there and confronted Daniel Bryan again on the Smack Talk show, and they were having a big argument. It's like they're building up to these two eventually meeting in the ring with Daniel Bryan getting to make it like a one-time return in the ring or something.
I hope so. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I see.
And they keep building this up, but he does such a good job, and they had a good match in that ladder match, I thought, with Ziggler. Ziggler come in 3-0 in his last 3 ladder matches, being on a win streak with that, and I don't know. You guys tell me, did it look like Miz really come down and hurt his knee for a little bit when he first come off of it? Because Maurice really looked concerned. The referee was down there like he was thinking about waving something off. And then it looked like it took a little bit longer to come into play when Ziggler got up and hobbled up the ladder. It looks like it took longer for that to happen, like they were giving Miz time to kind of, get himself back up and brush it off and everything. Do you think he came close to injury?
What do you got, Mike?
Well, from my perspective, I'm with you, Chris. What really got me thinking was after the match, when Maurice went to hold the middle rope open and he dropped down and rolled out the bottom rope.
Right.
And then waited for her to help him off the apron. Now, I don't know if he's just really playing it up, but perhaps maybe he did twerk something. There was a lot of opportunity in that match for someone to really potentially garner an injury. It was actually, like you said, a pretty damn good match. I was very impressed with what was put on. I mean, this is the TLC Pay Per View, and TLC hasn't been TLC since, 2005, 2007. So, but this was kind of like a small glimmer of maybe a burning ember of what once was greatness. But I'm thinking perhaps maybe he really did get injured.
At least a little bit.
Yeah, now that I think about it, now that the way you pointed it out, he might have. See, I didn't finish watching the Talking Smack or whatever. I didn't finish watching that. Or Smack Talk, whatever. I watched what's her name? Alexa Bliss. She was crying and everything, and then she got back into character. What was I going to say? I didn't see too much after that, but they were supposed to be on, him and Maurice or whatever the hell her name is. Here's the thing. We're getting to the match. It was a damn good match. I'm not going to lie, but I can't believe I'm saying this. I am bored of Dolph Ziggler. I'm done. Done with Dolph Ziggler.
Well, I agree. You can only see a guy lose so many times before you're like, okay, next.
Yeah, I'm just. What else can you do? What else can you do? They have given him, before he had a chip on his shoulder, they're not doing this, they're not doing this, they're not doing this, they're not doing this. He's been given the ball to run so many times. And yes, they also have dropped the ball when he's delivered, like Survivor Series a few years ago, when he's the one that, won it for his whole team, and everybody was like, Dolph Ziggler, and nothing. Like, they did nothing with him. So I can see that. But I think in the last few years, they've given him the opportunity. And I don't think that they have much confidence in him. He doesn't. If there's a star shining bright, it's not him. It would be Miz. Miz looked like $1 million besides hurting himself. Miz looked like $1 million tonight. He gets it done. He's a great heel. He just is. And then with Maryse, like, you may think she's hard and candy, but to be quite honest, she's just an extension of him. Yes, she interferes with matches, but she also gives that attitude. She has, she has a presence for him. They work off each other well. I'm sorry, dude. I think they should leave the title on him for a little while, and they should make him one of those guys that people want to see beaten. And Miz can do that. Miz has the staying power. He has that, and I'm glad for him bouncing back after Stephanie McMahon buried him in a promo. And he's bounced back, and he went. Think about it. He went from relative going back to obscurity and everything, and then he bounced back. Like, I got to give it to the kid. So.
Yeah. Well, this one will take a short time to talk about, I'm pretty sure. But Kalisto and Baron Corbin. I'm not a fan of these type of matches. I said it before. Baron Corbin should have dominated that match for the most part. Kalisto's not Rey Mysterio. And I wasn't a huge fan of the whole Rey Mysterio beating the giant type people angles when it happened then either. So I was glad to see that match come and go. I wish it would have went a little bit sooner than what it did, but it did go for a little bit. They kind of helped Kalisto look a little bit better than what it should have been, I think.
I disagree 110%. I thought that match, except for you saying, I think it was a good length for what it was. Now, do I think it made sense that those two were going against each other? Absolutely not. But it was a great match. It was a surprisingly really, really good match. I was thoroughly entertained. I was invested in the match. I was surprised that I was invested in the match. Do I want to see the both of them go against each other? No. It makes no sense. The thing that makes no sense about this feud is, like you said, I don't think that Kalisto can beat Baron Corbin. It's one of those things like you go to eat and you don't want to eat something, and then you go to eat it and you're like, okay, it's not that bad, pretty good. And you're like, I'm surprised, but you never eat that again. It just was there at that point, so you might as well eat it, right? That's how I feel about this match. Because Corbin is supposed to be this new big thing that they're pushing. So why would you have him almost get his ass handed to him by Kalisto? It makes no sense. So you mean to tell me Braun Strowman's going to walk in and Kalisto's going to give him a challenge? No.
No.
But now, do you honestly think Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman, you think he's going to give him any more of a challenge to be quite honest? Because he looks weak. And why
I think
are you going to put over Kalisto?
Does.
What?
I think he'd give him a run for the money better than Kalisto would.
Okay, but not by much. Let's face it.
Not by
much.
Not by the way they portrayed the match. I mean, it's like saying. I mean, to me and Mike, that's how they made Rey Mysterio larger than life. Was making him look like he could beat the Batistas and the Giants, Big Shows, whatever you want to call it. The Kevin Nashes, people like that.
Yeah.
Is Mike there?
The match was crap.
Listen,
Baron Corbin's crap.
Mike's words of wisdom. Match was crap.
Well, listen.
The match was crap. Baron Corbin is crap. Kalisto is not crap. But little not crap shouldn't beat big crap. So, let's just move on. I hated the match. It doesn't make sense.
Liked it. It did make sense, but it's one of those things. Here, you have to understand. It didn't make sense, and I totally agree it didn't make sense. But it's one of those things where you're like, okay, it's on TV, they're doing it, let me watch it. And I watched it, and I thought it was an entertaining match.
For me, it was more of like, oh, look, there's Kalisto, and there's Baron Corbin, it's time to go poop.
No, I was going to do that during Carmella and... Yeah.
I would say Baron Corbin versus Big Cass would be a match I would watch and wonder who would get the best of that one. But that being said, Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, did anybody at all watching this have any thoughts at all that Becky Lynch would actually come out with the belt at the end of it this time?
My wife did.
I really didn't.
No.
I didn't think she would.
Nope.
And I know your wife doesn't like Alexa Bliss at all, and she likes Becky Lynch, but I just knew that it was not going to turn out that way. And I told Mike earlier, Killjoy, I said after that match was over, I felt the earth shake and the earth rumble, and there was this sound that made me cover my ears. It was so loud, piercing noise, and I thought, oh, it's coming from Mike's house. His wife is so angry right now.
Yes, it was the sexy wife, and she was so mad that the earth shuddered.
It wasn't a bad match, though.
Oh, I disagree. I think it was a horrible match.
It had one spot.
Yeah.
There was one spot in it where it looked like that they did kind of botch it in one spot. Overall, I liked the match, the way the flow went with it and everything. I thought they had some nice stuff happen in it. But at one point, when she DDT'd Becky into the table that was turned upside down, they paused and the camera gets a close-up, and you hear one of them go, "I'm all right." Well, I was thinking, well, thanks for letting us know. Don't ruin it for anybody. Don't hold it. Don't make us hold our breath or anything. Are you sure you're okay? Say it a little louder.
She was like elbowing her to the ribs, hitting off SOS.
I guess I don't know, but are you sure you're okay? Are you sure? But I liked it overall a little bit better than the other one. Although I like Nikki Bella better than the rest of them. Their wrestling. I did like this match overall a little bit better.
Well, for me, I was waiting for it to end. I really was. I was like, when is this ending? I really did not like this match. The only part of the match I really did like was when she kind of took the arm, put it in between the bars of the table, and she did that, her move. Other than that, I knew she was going to lose. Let me put it this way. Becky Lynch has the unfortunate luck, if you will, kayfabe, out of kayfabe, whatever you want to call it, of looking weak. She looks weak all the time. Every time she was face-to-face with Alexa Bliss and they attack each other, she always got the shit end of the stick and made Alexa Bliss look like whatever. And unfortunately, because of all this, it makes her title reign look like shit. Because she did hurt herself and everything like that. But even when she beat, what's her name? Even when she beat Alexa Bliss the first time, Alexa Bliss legitimately had her foot on the rope. So it wasn't, no matter what she did, she didn't win against Alexa Bliss, even in her victory. It made her look weak. Her whole reign looked weak. She's never been considered a power player, even when she was on Raw. She was the weakest link. So, what do you do with her now? It looks like there's going to be a heel turn. So, we'll see what happens. But I didn't like the match.
Well, we got one last match here to cover. We got plenty of time for it here, so let's go ahead and jump to it. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose in the main event match. Now, I'll be the first to say, I told Mike earlier, I didn't watch the entire thing. I did have it turned on, and I was watching it, but I was guilty of having my other monitor with Hulu up, watching another show with the volume up on that and the volume down on the wrestling, because I kind of watched the wrestling, but listened to the other shows. I'm kind of binge watching a series I never got to watch when they came on. And so I did watch for the most part, but to me, this wasn't what I wanted. I'm not a big AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose fan, I guess. I don't know why. I'd rather see AJ Styles fight somebody that's more his style than I do someone that's the crazy. I'm the crazy lunatic guy. I'll hurt myself to hurt you, Dean Ambrose kind of feel. And I don't hate Dean Ambrose. I like Dean Ambrose, but I don't like these two against each other. It's not a feud that really keeps me interested in watching 100%. Mm-hmm. And I did not see that swerve at the end coming at all. I told you. You did.
Ellsworth was coming.
You did. I didn't see the swerve of him turning on him, and I was like, what purpose did that serve? Because quite frankly, Ellsworth serves no real purpose to me.
I hate you, Mike, because it's coming to fruition. I hate you.
I told you.
Mike.
I told you.
I hate you.
He is going to be the champion. You mark my damn words. He's going to be the WWE World Champion, and Bill Goldberg is going to be the Universal Champion.
Oh, speaking of, I don't want to get too far off track, I guess, but speaking of which, did you see they announced earlier who the first two people are in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, they announced that like last week.
I didn't see it, so I didn't know. So I just caught it tonight, and I was like, are you kidding? They put both of them at the start of it. I was like, I thought
that's kind of shitty.
I mean, I can see them maybe doing one of them that way. You know, do Goldberg that way. Let him make his big entrance first, because it takes a while for him to get to the ring anyway.
No,
let him get there.
I thought it was just that they were just the first two people that were confirmed as entrants in the Royal Rumble. Not that they were number 1 and 2.
Yeah. Is that it? Because I thought they were saying they were 1
Chris.
and 2. I hope that's what it is.
Sense.
I really do. I hope
that would
it is.
make no
because
sense.
The way I read it earlier, I took it that they were the first two entrants. And I thought, well, that just sucks.
No.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, no.
It didn't make any sense. But I hope you're right on that.
I think that's how it is.
Well, no, it is, because they still have to do the Royal Rumble. They still do the like lotto, right?
I'm sure they do.
Right?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
It's tradition.
It is tradition. So here's the thing. That's got to be it. Those are the two entrances. It's not going to be 1 and 2, because that would make no sense. It would make no sense.
What
are they going to do? They're going to wrestle each other. First of all, both of them are not in shape to do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
if they came out as number 1 and 2, this is the only way it would work, is if they just stood in the ring and waited for everyone else to come one by one and took turns eliminating them until they were the last two, and that would be the most boring Royal Rumble in freaking history.
Exactly.
Think about it. What would happen? Think about it. There'd be an entrant coming at number 3 that would be a pretty big name at number 3, we'll say. But by the time 3's come to the ring, these two have been beating each other's brains in so much in the ring, they eliminate themselves by accident, both running around the ropes and falling over the rope and going to the floor and fighting their way to the back and eliminating themselves to go just fight each other to the back, and that's it until the next thing. And they would last all of what? They'd last all of 2 minutes again? 3 minutes?
Yeah. You know what would be the best? I would love this. Braun Strowman comes in and just tosses them like they're nothing. And they both look at him and they just... I would love that. I would mark out to that. I don't care.
That would be kind of funny, to be honest with you.
That would be awesome,
amazing.
But that means the WWE won't do it.
Right.
Exactly.
But back to the match. Mike, what did you think about the match overall, the final match?
It wasn't as strong as the Intercontinental title match.
I agree.
It wasn't as good. I feel sorry for AJ Styles ripping the ass of his pants. That was very embarrassing. My wife was like, "Is that his butt cheek?" And I said, "Yes, dear."
For anybody with kids, who was listening, I saw a picture online that one of my friends put up on Facebook of AJ Styles' face over SpongeBob SquarePants with his ripped pants episode. Cracked me up.
You know it's memes are coming. Memes are coming.
Oh, memes are coming.
A bunch of memes.
Oh yeah,
memes are coming. My wife was like, "What is that AJ Styles' butt?" And I said, "Yep." I said, "Somebody's having a wardrobe malfunction." And the camera zooms right in on it. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's a butt cheek." I was like, "Yep."
You know what's funny? The first time he ripped it and the WWE noticed it, they came in and they swerved right away so that you can't see it. And they must have told somebody like, "Just keep going, dude. Just keep recording because look,
it's a pay-per-view."
Yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to see it no matter what. But I'm sure that poor bastard. I think that, you know what? It was like that mole on somebody's, really big mole on somebody's face. You couldn't stop looking. You're like, dude. Because he turned around and you're like, why?
And you know he has to know that it's happened. He's feeling the wind. It's a good-sized hole. He's feeling the wind off that sucker.
Oh, yeah. Well, he also cut himself. So here's the thing, too. It's funny how, and it's the pink elephant in the room. Nobody on the announce team, acknowledged it. But it's the pink elephant in the room. Nobody. Yeah. And they probably looked at each other like, who's going to say it? And in their ear, they're going, don't even think about it. Do not say a word.
Well, the SmackDown announce team's pretty damn weak anyway. Yeah. So they were probably too busy daydreaming of other things.
I'm not really crazy about their announce team either, to be honest with you. Especially Dave Otunga. He doesn't do anything for me. I don't think he belongs in the announce table. That's just,
I don't think
me, though.
He shouldn't be punching the tickets at the door, if you ask me.
Yeah, I like Morrow, though. I really like Morrow. I love Morrow.
I
love JBL.
I'm not big on JBL sometimes either. He's all right at times, but sometimes he just turns me off of him talking completely. I'm like, especially earlier when he made the referral of Orton and Wyatt to someone like a Brody and Hansen team or an Undertaker team combination. That just really wasn't. That just I didn't understand that. But
of course, you don't know who's in their ear either, and saying, "Hey, you say this or you say that," because that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But who's the other guy? Who's the fourth guy on their announce team?
He's the guy that's in the back doing interviews sometimes with people.
Who? Tom Phillips or something? Whatever his name is?
I can't think of his name.
He's
got black hair.
He's so insignificant we don't know his name. So why is he even at the announce table? The only reason we know Otunga's name is because he kind of wrestled. Why do you need four? Why do you need four people? Lawler and JR did it by themselves, and did it better than those four combined.
Let me put it this way. Listen to me. Let me put it to you this way about David Otunga. I was on this wrestling collectibles where you can get the action figures and the such. They wanted 75 cents for a David Otunga poster. I'm not lying. I wish I was. 75 cents. Okay.
Is it going to value it all over the years? I mean, I might make that investment, 75 cents.
Dude, I think it was signed, too. That's even worse. But, no, here's the thing. With this match, I really liked the match. I really did. I'm not going to lie. I liked it in spite of myself. I don't know how I feel about the swerve, only because I know what it's going to lead to, Mike, you son of a bitch. But, I really thought some of the spots were good. I didn't like the no-sells. You mean to tell me that putting, Styles doing the 420, 360, whatever you call it.
That was a highlight to me.
You know what I mean? He does the splash, and all of a sudden, he gets up from that. Then he does dirty deeds to Styles on the floor. I mean, on the steel steps. And he basically no-sells it. He's there, then he gets up. I don't like that, man. If he's out, he's out. I'm sorry. I understand it. It builds it's just, I don't know. That's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. That crazy elbow that Ambrose did was pretty spectacular, though. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But, again, you got these high spots, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. What are you going to do? It's fucking, ladder match. However, I just think they could have been more strategic about it, more ironically, realistic, at least in the mind of kayfabe. I don't know. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a really good match, but they had some holy shit moments, but I don't know how I felt about the ending.
Yeah, holy shit, holy pants, holy Ellsworth.
I still want that stupid shirt. Oh my God, the no chin music. Oh my God.
I love it.
Anyway,
no chin music. It is crazy. Overall, the pay-per-view was really good. I did like it. And we got about 16 minutes here. I want to get your guys' opinions on a couple of things I just seen earlier today on across the internet. I don't know if y'all, I believe, KJ, you said you watch Ring of Honor sometimes still, right?
Very, very, very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah.
I know Mike said he doesn't get to watch everything, but they just had a 6-man tag champion they made and crowned the first champion for that. That was the Kingdom. And they make it sound like it was something pretty big there. But the biggest thing there, though, is Jay Lethal has finally lost that World Heavyweight title. He's no longer the champion there. And Kyle O'Reilly, which I don't know a whole lot about, to be honest with you, is the actual World Heavyweight champion right now. And no surprise here that of the Young Bucks still being the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. So they have turned down the WWE twice already. And I don't know if it's because they like going to Japan when they want, doing what they do, or they just don't want to be up there with the pressure, and they like the no pressure feel Ring of Honor has, they say. But they have turned them down twice, which I have no problem with, because I'd like to see other companies have some good talent to be able for us to watch and all. But I just seen this a few moments ago about the 6-man tag title. So if anybody who is a Ring of Honor fan listening out there, the Kingdom is your first 6-man tag team champion there of Ring of Honor. I did see something else, though, and this does not really get me jumping in any way. I don't know about you guys, but they're announcing that Tajiri is going to make a return to WWE in spring of 2017. Does that really get you excited?
What's he going to do? Be on the announce team with Funaki?
That's what I wanted to say. And you know what? By the way, why do they take the time to do that? Why do they take the time to announce that there's a Russian announce team, the Hispanic announcing team, the German announce team, it's in Mandarin now, announce team? Why do they take time to recognize all of that? We already know they go worldwide. I mean, do we really want to sit there and listen to them talk to us in language you don't understand? Basically saying, TLC. You understand one thing. They all say TLC.
I think it's probably more for the international fans than the worldwide fans, because it's a way to show, I think it's probably the WWE's way of showing them, hey, these guys are actually here at the event. We actually care enough to staff this event with people speaking your native tongue.
It seems like a lot of trouble to go through to do that. I don't know. It seemed like they were like trying to fill time to me. Did you guys see the big botch in NXT by the Authors of Pain? Wait a minute.
Ask me about Tajiri.
Yes.
Did you ask me? You didn't ask me about Tajiri.
I asked both of you.
No, Mike took over, as he always does. So
that's right. Whether it be on the podcast or in the bedroom, I'm always taking over.
Please tell us about Tajiri.
Jesus Christ. I wanted to respond to that so bad. Anyway, Tajiri. All I can say is one word. Squee! I am so happy. I love Tajiri. I'm a huge Tajiri mark. I saw him in the tournament. I almost fell over. I was so happy. I couldn't be happier. He can still move the way he moves. Still a great competitor. I hope he comes, and I hope he misses everybody. Everybody. Especially Barry.
The Green Mist. The Green Mist.
And Kabuki. So yeah, that's how I feel about Tajiri. Okay, carry on.
Authors of Pain. Big botch move the other day. Did you guys see this? They actually stopped the match for what happened.
I did not.
I did not. I don't particularly thrill over them. They have a very stupid name.
They do.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I hate that Authors of Pain. First of all, those guys look like they never had a pen in their friggin' hand ever. Two, Elring's going to have to do a lot more work with them. There's only so much that guy can do. It's a shame. Those guys are just big guys. That's it. I've seen, they have decent moves, but I don't see them. What are they going to... Listen, they're going up to the main roster. I know they are, eventually, unless they're still botching these moves. What kind of gimmick are they going to have? Because they're not walking in looking like the way they are. It'd be very surprising.
I know.
What are they going to do? Make them to...
I don't know if this botch was on them or if it was a combination of maybe the other guy landing wrong or turning the wrong direction. But I don't know if it was a double power bomb or if they just threw the one guy down. But the second guy was definitely a power bomb, and he power bombed him down on the head of the guy on the ring, right down. So the guy got his head smashed between the guy, 250 pounds, and he laid him down in between the ring and himself. And the referee had to call the match at that point because the guy looked really hurt. Botched that completely. And a lot of people were making a huge deal about it all through Twitter the other night and how it looked and everything. And it did look bad when it happened. I was watching the little repeat of it over and over. It just looked really bad.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. But, I mean, ever since, think about it. Ever since Droz and that unfortunate thing, there's been a huge, like even power bombs, kind of after that happened, kind of lessened until recently. But, I mean, I remember there was a huge drop-off in power bombs. Because, hey, man, one thing, you're off by an inch, and somebody's paralyzed, man, and you don't do it right, you know?
Right. And it was a running power bomb, if I remember correctly, that ended Draws, and I don't know the last time I saw a running power bomb.
Because there's a reason for that. It's called Draws.
I seen an interview with D'Lo Brown about that. He said he felt horrible for like months on end about that. And
no, he was gun shy. He was gun shy for a long time. He didn't get into the ring for a very long time.
That's right. Now, big news, NXT anyway. Did y'all see that Shinsuke Nakamura has got the belt back again on a win in Japan?
Hey, don't spoil it. I was going to wait till Wednesday.
What's happening Wednesday?
What?
He's actually going to show up for NXT.
They're replaying the match is all they're doing. And they try to make it like, who won? So that's why I made the joke. Like, hey.
Oh, well, it ain't like it's a secret. It's been blasted all across the internet.
Yeah,
the question is, there's a question of, will he actually show up on NXT with the belt? Because they said they got a place to stop in Australia before they get back with a rematch. Well, will Samoa Joe get it back there and come back on TV with it around him? Would it be kind of like the old days where Flair would lose his belt to somebody in Japan but come back with it on TV the next week where he just won it right back from him later or something? I don't know, but...
Well, I mean, it all depends on if Nakamura's going to the main show.
That's right. It could be one of those things leading up to... I don't know.
My theory on the matter is that Nakamura is not coming to the main show, and Samoa Joe was going to show up at the Rumble.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there's a rumor out there that Vince doesn't like Nakamura. That he doesn't like his, I don't know if it's the way he wrestles or just him in general, his look or something. I don't know. But the rumor is that Vince doesn't like Nakamura, and that's why you don't see him on the main roster. It's why he's still in NXT.
That's awfully racist, isn't it? Doesn't like his look. What's he got against the Japanese?
I said I don't know if it's his look or his overall thing he does. God. Listen to that.
Nakamura. I don't like the way you're squinting at me all the time.
Wait a minute. That's not what I'm saying.
Now we'll never get a Japanese guy on the show now. Way to go, Mike.
It's not. I'm saying this is Vince McMahon. He's like, what's his problem? He doesn't like the way Nakamura looks. I mean,
no. Here's the thing. I guarantee you. First of all, Nakamura doesn't come off as the most manly person because of the way he's like. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And he doesn't have a bunch of muscles, so that's him.
Right.
I'm sure he can't, intimidate him because he doesn't, he doesn't understand much of the English language. So, he can yell at him to the blue in the face, and Nakamura's probably going to laugh at him. But here's the thing. The guy's got talent. There you go. That's the reason why he doesn't.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here. Killjoy has spoken.
I have.
He has talent, and that's why he's not on the main roster. Everybody on the main roster, their talent was
and apparently because he's Asian. Right, Mike?
That's right, because Vince McMahon doesn't like the way he looks. There's a certain look about that Nakamura, and I don't like it. He's squinting all the time.
I was actually referring to his ring look, but I mean, that's like KJ was saying. But if you want to go that far with it, I just want to make this sudden announcement here that our Mike Currance's thoughts and words are not necessarily the reflection that of Body Slam the competition. So if anybody out there is wanting to throw a lawsuit our way, please direct that toward Michael Currance. Thank you very much.
Let's take that back and think about it, though. What other Asian talent is on the main roster? What Asian talent is on any of the roster besides Nakamura and Asuka?
Wow. You have to go to 205 to get that, I believe. Can't remember the kid's name, but there's a guy on 205, and then there's somebody on NXT, Hideo Itami or whatever his name is. I think it's on one of them. And then of course you got Nakamura and Asuka. But other than that, I mean, you haven't seen on the main roster since Tajiri or
Nobody.
Maki.
And like just KJ just said, I mean, Japan puts out a great wrestling product with a lot of phenomenal wrestlers. And they're not all just guys that come over from the States or other parts of the white world. They're homegrown boys too. And a lot of those guys are just like Nakamura. They are awesome talents. Why aren't they over here? Is it loyalty? Or is there something fishy going on with Vince McMahon? Vince, you want to throw cease and desist orders at us for trying to just report on your lame-ass product? Well, listen here, old man. I'm calling you out on your racist bullshit right here and right now.
There is something strange there, Mike, to the mystery machine.
To the mystery machine. Oh. Great. Now we'll never get Vince McMahon on the show either.
Did you ever think we were at all anyway, Chris? I mean, honestly.
No, not really.
Would you want him? Would you want him? What was he going to do? Sing a song for us?
Yes. He's going to sing that song, and we can picture him dancing and everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you're doing with that rice, but that gag is just out of line. Put it away. Mike, you take things too far, Mike. Anyway. Let's talk about something else.
Well, we've only got about 3.5 minutes left to go. We can't have much we can talk about here. If I bring up one thing, KJ will talk for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Then we'll have 15 seconds to close. So I'm not sure.
We can just spend the last 3 minutes talking about how great the New Day is and how they are definitely going to beat Demolition Streak. KJ,
we are not going to sit here and sing New Day rocks. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Hey, you know what? Let's do this. Steve Corino, they say, that has signed with WWE as a coach. I'm sure it's with NXT and everything. Do you think this is a move by them to try and lure Jay Lethal to come on over? Because they say Jay Lethal is pretty good friends with the guy and everything. So do you think it's a little slick move by them, by Triple H, to get Jay Lethal to come over to NXT?
I think it's two birds and one stone.
Think so?
So yeah. Yeah, because I mean, hey, look, Corino's not a bad guy. He knows he knows his salt, so why not? Yeah, I think it's two birds, one stone.
Could very well be. It should be time for Jay Lethal to move on. I mean, they can make good use of Jay Lethal's characters.
Oh yeah, and it definitely wouldn't hurt their chances of getting Jay to come on over.
Do you think if he come there, would they bring out the Black Machismo again, or his Ric Flair imitations? Would they do anything like that if they bring him over there?
I doubt it.
I would love to see the rebirth of the Black Machismo again. That would be something. I would like that a lot.
Yeah, but he'll go the way of that. I think that he'll go the way of Sandow if he does that. He should go and be the serious Jay Lethal, and I think he would go over well. I still think he would definitely do that.
Yeah. Well, we're down to about 1 minute and 40 seconds, guys, so we're going to start wrapping things up, I guess. I did make a change recently. I no longer have the web page that we had before where I put the the blogs at sometimes, or the links to the podcast. I decided to go ahead and drop that and just take the name that I bought, Body Slam the Competition, and direct it at the YouTube page. So for now on, anybody who's listening, if you put in bodyslamthecompetition.com, you will go to the YouTube page where we have all of our podcasts uploaded there each week, and where you can, of course, subscribe to keep up with us every week, because you will get that notification that a new podcast is up and ready for you to listen to. We are, once again, as always, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and such. And Mike, I know you want to get a good one in this week, so we got a good 50 seconds left. Go ahead and give us a good one before we get off the air tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to watch for Chris Adams, Grinder, and New Day Rocks. New Day Rocks going to beat Demolition Streak. New Day Rocks.
I hope so.
Day Rocks.
I let him go, didn't I?
Smash, kiss my ass. New day rocks. New day rocks. Okay.
Okay, we're cutting him off there. That's good. That's good. We gotta stop him right there. Stop him right there. All right. In all seriousness, guys, it's been fun this week. Thanks to M.E. Howerton for coming on the show once again. It was a blast talking to him and everything, and we'll get him back on the show again one day, just as everybody else. And next week we'll just go ahead probably and cover what happens the week after, the fallout of what happened, and we'll go from there. So see you guys next week.